All right, in this video, we're trying to get the payoff of all the work we've done with setting up React Native, or Triple Native rather. So what we have so far is an app that we're primarily loading its content through the web. We are managing its navigation via the path configuration. And with this next step, we're going to look at how to dynamically configure all of this. So to kind of kick this off, to enable this, we're going to want to make some changes to our app coordinator and to our path configuration. So in our path configuration, we're going to add some new settings. Now, the settings is just a generic bag of data. So what we're going to do is add the information about what the titles or what the tabs should look like. So we're going to do title is home, and the icon is house, and the path, if I can type, is going to be just slash for the root. And we're going to add another one for title, admin, a icon of gear shape, and a path of slash posts. So that's all we're going to need in there. So for our our app coordinator, we're going to need to start working on customizing a few things. So in here, we're going to have our path configuration. And this is going to be set up like this. So path configuration, if I can type it, and this is going to be set up basically the same. So we're going to have dot file, and this is going to be bundle dot main dot URL for resource, path configuration, JSON, and force unwrap. Config dot delegate equals self, and return that config. When we start, we're actually not going to need to do any of this stuff for now. Okay, so the all right. So we are going to need to conform to that delegates protocol. So to do that, so this is what this is going to do is give us a callback, a place to hook into for every time that that path configuration is loaded. So in here, let's just print out the path configuration dot settings. Just see what we're getting. And actually, we're going to want to. All right. So we're getting the tabs all in there and the enable feature X. Yeah, that looks what we were expecting. Okay, so let's actually start to work with that. So I'm going to do a guard let tab configs that's just going to be equal to the path configuration dot settings. We're going to grab the tabs, and we want that to be unwrapped as an array of string hashes. Here we'd actually probably want to do an actual JSON decoding to do it properly. But for the sake of moving forward, we're just going to do this. In here we want to have our tab coordinators. So we actually want to map those configurations to tab coordinators. Okay. So for each one of those configurations, we're going to do let title equal config title. And because we're not actually doing, if we were doing JSON decoding, we actually would have things proper, but we're going to have to force unwrap them. Let path equal config path and force unwrap, and let icon equal config icon, and we're going to force unwrap that too. We're now going to make our tab, so that's going to be a new tab coordinator with the title icon, and we're going to do the we're just going to hard code this. Again, we'd want to this is where we can take advantage of doing something dynamic. That way we can use a local environment or staging, local staging production environments, and toggle between them, so we can take advantage of it here, for example. But we're just going to hard code this in for now. So this is going to be at localhost 3000, and then use the path. And we are going to force unwrap that because we're being dirty and gross. Well, that's okay. All right. And so we now have gotten those tab coordinators, and we're just going to put them onto the root view controller like we did up here. And we're going to remove all that because we don't need that anymore. Okay, so when the path configuration updates, we're going to try and grab the tabs from that. We're going to loop through those configurations and dynamically create all the tab coordinators for it, start those off, and then assign that to the tab bar. So let's see if this now works. Perfect. So we're kind of back to where we just were. Not much of a win, but all right. So we're able to provide multiple sources in here. And what this is going to do is it's going to load the first one and then continue on. So we're first of all trying to load it from our local bundle. We can also specify another location. So we can do .server, and here we can now say another place we want to load it from. So we can say http:// localhost 3000 / path configuration. So this will load it from local system and then try and load it from the server. So let's let that work. So if I go into the routes, I can do a new resource. And this is only going to be show. Now I can take advantage of anything that we can do on the Rails side. So we had sessions, we could use that to dynamically change this. We could do feature flags, whatever we wanted to. For now, we're just going to keep it simple and just have a static file. But there's unlimited by your imagination. All right. So this is just going to be a very simple controller configuration. And because we don't actually do any logic in here, this is just empty. And in our views, we're just going to put in the static JSON for it. You probably could have just put it into the public folder to make this a static file, but this shows you what you would need to do if you want to do stuff dynamically. Okay, so I've just copied and pasted the current path configuration. If I put in here something like home from Ruby, that's home from Rails, and now I rerun my app. Okay, we had a first exception there, was caching some things, but now we can see on the tab home from Rails. So what's great about this is now I can go into here and I can make a new element in this array. I can do title, profile. I can do icon is, what was this, person? And I can do a path of /profile. If I rerun my application, we now have our profile there, and we've got our profile. What's interesting too is we don't want to have duplication on things, so this is just Rails. So we could do profile path, posts path, and root path using ERB. And let's fix this typo while we're here. Okay, so if we do that, rerun the app. And what's nice is so I'm rerunning the app, but we could do things where it dynamically does those changes. So there's lots of options about how we could be doing that. So this is just kind of a basic setup for it. So now we're basically the exact same place where we're at the beginning of the video, where we are still loading the same 3 tabs, still have the same information, still have all the same navigation. But what this means is that we're now able to control, update, make changes for everything from the server side. So even if we have, there's a big bug and we need to disable the profile, we can do that from the server side. We've got our feature flags, so the enable feature X. We can use that to toggle things from the server side. So this just gives us a ton of power in how we can run and manage things. So this is kind of the end. Where we've gotten is we have an application that we can have the best of the native side. We can take advantage of the web side. We can do configuration, and yeah, it's all from a single code base primarily.